Hi, I'm Sal Mercogliano, Associate Professor of History at Campbell University in beautiful North Carolina. I am a former merchant mariner and an adjunct professor in maritime industry policy at the U.S. Merchant Marine Academy. And welcome to this special episode of What's Going On in the Suez Law Edition. So, taking a quick break from grading final exams at my university, hence the informal attire. I apologize, and also a little gruffy look here. Been working, trying to get everything graded here. But some breaking news just came out today, and I thought I'd share it with you on motor vessel Ever Given and the situation going on in the Suez. We knew that there was going to be a legal case brought up against the vessel, and we saw in the Egyptian courts that went down today. So Ever Given sitting there by herself, all alone in the canal. Vessels are just leaving the canal right now. It's evening there. So the last of the vessels are heading out, and then the new convoys will be coming in the morning. So Ever Given, again, sitting there by her lonesome self in the canal. We know 5 of the 25 crew members have been relieved and gotten off the vessel. We understand that there are reliefs coming out. One of the provisions that the Egyptians are demanding is that sufficient mariners remain on board the vessel to operate the vessel in case they do need to move her. And so she is sitting there in the Suez, right there at the Great Britain Lake. Nothing going on there. No vessels around, just her sitting there. Again, this is May 4th. The incident, the grounding that started all this was March 23rd. So we're over a month, 5 weeks almost into this. So it's been going on for quite a while. But we knew today that the UK P&I insurance, and P&I insurance is the protection and indemnity insurance. This is the insurance on the cargo of the vessel, not on the hull and machinery, not the H&M insurance. UK P&I, which is under the UK P&I Club, who has the insurance for Ever Given, filed a writ in the Egyptian court where the vessel was arrested. The Egyptians, the Suez Canal Authority specifically, had the vessel arrested for payment of fees, specifically $916 million worth of fees. 300 million of that was supposed to be for a salvage bonus. 316 million was for the freeing of the vessel, and the other 300 million was because of the bad reputation the canal got as a result of this, misrepresentation or disrespecting the canal. So $916 million. UK P&I insurance went in and filed an appeal for that. And this is the story from Bloomberg today on this. And believe it or not, you're not surprised by this at all. But the Egyptian court upheld the ruling preventing the giant container ship that blocked the Suez Canal from leaving the country after authorities sought more than $900 million in compensation from the owners. Okay, this is not a surprise. Everybody knew this was going to happen. And if you didn't know this was going to happen, I have a bridge to sell you in Brooklyn. This was just due to happen. There was no way the Egyptians were going to overrule the Egyptian government. It just wasn't going to happen. So not a lot of recourses are really left remaining for the vessel. One of the big issues that we have going on here is that, number one, they're going to try to separate the cargo from the vessel. Evergreen wants to get the cargo off the vessel. If that involves sailing the vessel up to Port Said to basically offload the containers and then transship them, they'll do it. It's extremely expensive because it's additional cargo handling. It's a lot of boxes. She's a 20,000 box ship, but doesn't carry 20,000 boxes, probably around 12 to 15,000 on there. The owners of the cargo are going to have to put up a bond for the cargo, at least 10% of the value of the cargo, probably more, depending on how general average is done. And the Ever Given herself is still going to remain as an arrested vessel until this compensation with the Suez Canal Authority is worked out. I have to say a couple of things right here, right off the bat. This is creating massive problems down the road for the Suez Canal and for the carriers, the shipping companies that operate through the Suez Canal. If you're a carrier, if you're one of the big shipping firms that have these big vessels, you have to be concerned that your vessel may be grabbed by the Egyptians should there be an accident again, which means your insurance rates are going to go up. If the P&I insurance, which has a max capacity of about $3.1 billion, if that's maxed out and there's already filing against it beyond the Egyptians, there's going to be an issue with having to up the insurance. The best scenario, understand the best scenario for a vessel in terms of insurance. I say best, and I shouldn't really use that term. Maybe best, worst case scenario is the vessel sinks. The vessel's out at sea and it sinks. Hopefully everyone gets off, everyone's saved. But the vessel and cargo sink, because in that way, H&M just has to cover the replacement of the vessel, and P&I reimburses for the value of the cargo on the vessel. There's no liability. That's the big issue. The problem that they have right now with the P&I insurance is liability. If you look at the salvage of Golden Ray going on in Brunswick, Georgia, or the salvage of Costa Concordia, that was H&M, that was Holland Machinery. And Holland Machinery would much rather have a vessel sink than get into a position where it has to be salvaged. The salvage costs for Ever Given were not as huge as many people think. Yes, you get $316 million claim by the Egyptians for that. You have $300 million for a salvage bonus that they're asking about. But again, you're not dealing with years and years of a salvage operation where you have to get Costa Concordia off the island, off the coast of Italy, or slice up the Golden Ray down in Brunswick, Georgia, and remove it. So this situation is just magnifying in time. I know this is not on the mainstream. Everyone's not watching this right now. But I have to tell you, everyone in the shipping industry is going to be watching this, because if the Egyptians continue to hold this vessel, and again, this is not a solitary Syrian cargo ship. This is a ultra large container ship of a significant container ship company, Evergreen, which is 7th largest in the world, part of 1-3 mega alliances that are out there. Everybody's going to take notice of this. Everybody's going to take notice of this and sit there and go. And in a recent video, I talked about, are these ships too big to sail, too big to fail? And the question really becomes, what happens to a vessel like this? Does it remain? Does it stay in the Suez? Do they write off the vessel? You have to go, back to 1967 when the Suez Canal closed for 8 years. There were 14, 15 vessels that were in the Suez Canal. Most of the owners, except for 2, wrote off the vessels. They declared them total losses and went to the insurance companies and got money for them. They said they're basically scrap. They're worth nothing. What if Evergreen abandons the vessel? Just leaves the vessel and writes it off for that. I'm not sure that's going to happen. We don't know what's going to happen, because again, this is a unique scenario. We've never seen quite anything like this take place. So we'll keep monitoring, keep an eye on it. If you want to follow along and see what happens to motor vessel Ever Given and this vessel and the story with the Egyptians and the Suez Canal, please subscribe. But we're doing also maritime industry news. So, we're maritime industry today. So we're doing periodic updates on big stories across the maritime industry. We had a big story about the motor vessel President Eisenhower that went adrift in Southern California. We're doing little showcase stories about once a week with that. And if you're really interested in a recap, kind of a recap of this week's maritime news, then I suggest you hop on over to gCaptain Weekly. Sorry, my dog. gCaptain Weekly. John Conrad and I, this is our 4th episode, come out on Mondays over at gCaptain, and you can catch about a half hour to an hour. We went a little long this time, so we got in a little bit of, we were having a good discussion on some things. So if you're, sorry, dog barking, but if you're interested in some of those stories, please take a moment, go on over there, like that, subscribe. That's on gCaptain's YouTube page. But if you like that and you like me, subscribe, thumbs up. Make sure you like it so that these videos can hit the top of people's search engines and they're more available for them. So I'm going to see what the dog is barking at, and I will see you on the next episode of What's Going On in the Suez Law Edition.